Hello, beautiful and lovely gamers. My name is Jonal. There's been this huge PTR patch that just dropped on Overwatch, and it's redefining so much of what's the current meta. I think a lot of people are happy with it. I mean, I love every single change that's happened to this, as good as. So let's talk about that. Now, for those of you who doesn't really just want to watch the entire video or so on, here's a quick sum up of what's happening. They are nerfing Sigma while buffing the two off-tanks such as d.va and Roadhog. They are also nerfing Orisa while giving a buff to Winston, right? They are so a little bit more like dive focus, making Roadhog a little bit more viable, but focus a little bit more on dive. They're buffing Tracer, they're nerfing Doomfist, they are buffing Sombra, they are nerfing Moira, they are buffing Lucio, they are buffing Mercy, and they are nerfing Baptiste, right? So essentially the shift looks to be putting a little bit away from Bunker and trying to move it more over to these other heroes and make the other hero viable. So other off-tanks than just Sigma, nerfing Orisa to try to make other team composition a little bit more viable. Also nerfing Lucio's speed, so maybe Bunker, maybe Dive, or maybe Deathball can be a little bit more. Now let's talk about this. So let's start with Tracer. So Tracer, essentially, her pulse pistols just got a damage drop-off. They went from having the damage drop-off, now starts at 13 meters instead of 10 meters. Meaning, well, she's far more flexible at some of those ranges. I'm doing that you don't always have the full engage, but it can be very difficult in today's meta to just blink in and use resources and that. You have a little bit more like that. Also, because you have a higher damage output on longer ranges, it will do that, well, you will have to reload less, and reloading on Trace is super expensive, and that's one of the things you need to remember, that doing a reload, it costs you a lot of time blinks because you need to blink around cover and so on, and all that kind of stuff. It's very expensive for a Tracer, so being able to delete people a little bit faster is good. You're probably seeing on the screen, it's probably been playing now, the difference between live and PTR. On the live server right now, I need, on about 13 meters, I need to burn an entire magazine plus like 4 bullets to kill this training bot. On the PTR server, I need to burn like almost my entire mag. I have 4 bullets left, meaning I don't have to reload. More flexibility, and I generally love it, making Tracer a little bit more viable. She's been needing some love, even though it's really weird to see Tracer and buff in the same sentence. Now, Doomfist, shock, right, the most overpowered, or really the strongest hero in the game right now in DPS category, is being nerfed. I know, I'm just as surprised as you are. His Rocket Punch, the time to reach max charge increased from 1 second to 1.4 seconds. That is a 40% increase in charge time. Meaning his Rocket Punch charges really slowly. It feels really weird if you try it on PTR. If you play a lot of Doomfist, highly recommend you going on to PTR and trying this, because it feels really weird. On top of that, the best defense, which is his passive ability, shield health gained per hit reduced from 35 to 30. Meaning you can charge a Rocket Punch as fast as you normally can, and you also gain less shield from dealing damage, meaning your survivability had just plummeted on this hero. On top of general flexibility, you can't just really charge up a quick, high damaging punch, seize in between. This is going to take you longer time. Disengaging going to take you longer time if you want to fly decently far. All of that is going to just take longer, actually 40% longer than what it already did, which is a significant nerf. Now, Sigma has also gotten both a buff and a nerf, and I think that this is like a really good balance change for him. So, the regeneration rate of his shield has been reduced from 175 to 150 per second. Now, this essentially means that beforehand, like on live server, your shield, if it breaks completely, it takes about 8.5 seconds to regain. On the PTR, it takes about 10 seconds to regain to full. That's fine. It does essentially that it punishes bad shield management and makes him a little bit less suppressive. Now comes on to the really good things. So, his shield now has a 1 second cooldown after recalling the barrier. Meaning, you can't just pop the barriers like you can do on live stream. Live stream, you can just pop and change and pop and change. Pop, recall, pop, recall. You can do it as much as you want. On PTR, on the other hand, there's a 10-second delay. Now, there's a 1 second delay. Sorry, there's a 1 second, 10 second would be broken. There's a 1 second delay in between, meaning you have to wait for 1 second to replace the barrier. Doing that, you can't always cover every single, LOS in every single scenario. However, and this is balanced really well, so the initial 0.2 cast time has been removed. So on the live server, and you can see that on the screen, I'm kind of just stretching out the hand of Sigma right now, and it looks like I'm trying to grope somebody. This is because I'm just tapping the shield button, and because there's a 0.9 deployment time to actually initialize the shield, this does that I can't just immediately pop it. If you go on the PTR header and you just tap the shield button, it immediately pops the shield. Doing this gives you so much more individual flexibility. Like if a crease gonna flashbang you on live server, unless you have like can predict it in advance, you can't really block it. You will pop the shield and it will, because of the 0.2 custom, you will most likely get stunned, especially due to ping. On PTR on the other hand, you will immediately pop the shield in front of you. So even if you get stunned due to ping, at least it will block the bullets for you, which is a really good balance change. Then Moira got nerfed. Thank you. I've been talking about this for so long. That Moira needed some form of nerf onto her thing. So her Biotic Grasp, meaning her sucky damage ability, the self-healing has been reduced from 30 onto 20 health. You can see it on the screen right now, the differences. This is insane. This does that she's so much more killable. It also does that she's less rewarded for being... a lot of people in low rank pick Moira because of her insane DPS capabilities, especially in low ranks. As to outdamage Moira, you need to a lot of time land a lot of headshots, which is not done in low ranks, but the Moira player herself doesn't need to do anything due to the lifesteal. Reducing this is really good. I think it could be even being reduced down to 15 per second, but at least this is a really good time. Reducing it by 10 is huge. So that's really good. Now, Orisa got a nerf we talked about. It's a small nerf. Essentially, her cooldown on her barrier has been increased from 9 seconds to 10 seconds. Great. This plus the Sigma, lower regain charge. Hopefully, will do a big blow to double shield meta. And the fact that Sigma has a 1 second redeployment time on his shield does suggest some flexibility has been removed. And on the other, on the counter end, Winston has gotten a buff, meaning die, boys. Let's fucking get it. His barrier projector, the duration has been increased from 6 to 9 seconds, and the health has been increased from 600 to 700, which actually is significant. 100 damage is a lot in Overwatch, so that's pretty good. Roadhog also got a buff, so essentially trying to get him back into the meta. The scrap gun, the ammunition increased from 5 to 6, meaning you have to reload, meaning he has a higher just general damage and pressure on stuff. D.va got a buff, defense matrix, which hearing that D.va gets defense matrix buffs. Like, what are we, like, Tracer's getting buffed, Doomfist is getting nerfed, like, Moira is getting nerfed, and fucking D.va gets buffs now on defense matrix? I don't know what fucking patch we're living on right now, but D.va got a defense matrix buff. The regeneration rate of the defense matrix juice increased from 12.5 all the way to 16 per second. 16% per second, that's a lot. And the delay before the regeneration begins is lowered from 1 second to 0.75 seconds, meaning you will regain faster, and the time it gets to actually charge up between each regain is also shorter. Doing that, you will have more defense matrix, you will regain your defense matrix faster. You will not be able to eat any longer. It's just that as you will eat and you will put down your matrix, you will have it back faster so you can put it up again. Which does that again. I think it's to try to compete with Sigma, because right now Sigma is better at rush comps than D.va, and better at kind of doing a lot of the damage mitigation, which is kind of like one of the key reasons that D.va has been picked throughout the history. Now, then over to supports. Baptiste's immortality field has been, the health has been decreased from 250 to 200. Thank you. This has been well waited for. The immortality fields now will only take, for example, for Genji, 2 swings with the Dragon Blade. Before it was 3, which is a lot. 3 swings with Dragon Blade is an additional swing, which is like half your blades if they pop into the field. Now it's only 2. And that's a pretty good nerf. Without making immortality field like, you know, just so you like blow on it and immediately die. Lucio got a buff, which is like the death ball dive buff, which also helps of course in bunker because speed, whatever. But essentially his speed boost, his standard speed boost has been increased from a 20 to a 25% increase. So now on live server it's 20% speed boost, on PTR it's 25% speed on normal. Then your amped it up boost, the amplification has been increased from 50 to 60, meaning if you now amp speed, it's instead of being a 20% speed increased by 50%, it's a 25% speed increase by 60%, meaning you're moving, these guys stack with each other, so you move way faster now on the live server, on top of the fact that he will be giving a little bit more healing when he amp up heals. And then, to kind of nerf this out to not make Lucio fast as fuck boy, his wall ride speed has been reduced from 40 down to 30, so he will wall ride slower, but he will be able to speed his team and move them around way better, and also do a little bit more healing. Mercy's Valkyrie the extra beams by Valkyries now ignore enemy barriers, meaning, well, exactly what it means. You pop Valkyrie, you try to heal. If there's an enemy, if one of your teams is behind a barrier and he's close to an ally that's getting healed, this can latch on through barriers now. So barriers doesn't stop Valkyrie from being so effective. That's one of the reasons that like all of this shield meta, especially stuff like Symmetry and so on, can be really busted, because if you Valkyrie and they pop Symmetry wall, then okay, you can't heal through the Symmetry wall. Now you can, since the barrier will not stop Mercy's beam from chaining into that. And then Sombra got a kinda buff, but kinda not a buff. So Sombra's Translocator cooldown has been increased from 4 to 6 seconds. Okay, that's a nerf, right? It's a longer cooldown. But the cooldown up begins immediately upon deploying this beacon, or if it's killed by an enemy. Meaning, as soon as you press, toss out the Translocator, the cooldown starts. But it's a long cooldown. So it's kinda enough, but kinda buff. I think it's a buff, because I think this essentially does that you can have 2 Translocators. You can drop one, engage, which kind of like the places that they want it. You can drop one, engage, translocate, and then you will have one immediately. Like, there's no, like, you can, for example, you can toss it into, if there's an enemy, you can toss it into their high ground, and then you will have it, then you translocate, and you immediately can toss another one and translocate again. And now it's a 6-second cooldown, but you can do these 2 kind of bounces immediately after each other, if you want to. So you can essentially do, if you can do really long EMPs now, if you get the setup. You set up once on, like, a high ground, translocate, and then you can toss another translocator to either EMP there and then translocate out, or you can toss the translocator even further from that original spot into the enemy and then EMP from there. So there's like all kinds of things you could do that makes you this way more flexible than the 4-second cooldown that they had before. So I like this. I think that's a buff, but it's also kind of nerfed. So Symmetry got a nerf finally. I still think the beam is a little bit strong, but whatever, Blizzard. Symmetra's photon barrier, which is her ultimate, her fucking bullshit ultimate, duration reduced from 15 to 12 seconds, and the health is reduced from 5,000 to 4,000. So now, guys, it's so killable. It's only 4,000 health. Does anyone even kill the fucking barriers? The one thing to note is that the cooldown has, like, the duration has been reduced from 15 to 12 seconds, which is really good. But, like, it's still 4,000 health, Blizzard. The fuck do you guys, like, unless we're, like, nano boosting a Bastion with, like, fucking Mercy damage boost, and this barrier is not fucking going down anytime soon. So just saying. Anyway. And then her Sentry Turrets finally has been nerfed. So damage per second reduced from 50 to 40, thank you, because it's really busted in low ranks, and also really frustrating in higher ranks. And the Photon Projector, essentially, the balls that fly towards you. Player impacted by the primary fire beam should now hear a louder impact sound. So essentially, when you try to use the primary fire, so the beam of the primary fire, right, at them, there should be a impact sound that you're getting hit by it to kind of register a little bit faster that you're taking damage from Symmetry. So it's not just like the silent damage output. I don't think that's too much of a buff, but the fact that the turrets have been nerfed and the duration of the wall has been taken down, it's pretty good. And I think that this is overall a really, really good patch note. I'm super excited. I would like to hear your comments down below, especially Doomfist players. If you're a Doomfist player, what do you think about what happens on the PTR right now? I would like to hear that, because I play Doomfist, but I'm not as comfortable on him as a lot of other people are. So I would like to hear what you guys think about the Rocket Punch nerf, how it feels, because for me it feels super clunky and just super weird, but it's of course something that we need to get used to. So that's everything for today. Tell me down below what you guys think about this patch note. I personally love it. I think it is the right direction for the game right now, and I think that they're managing to change meta and to like try to shift the power balance without like just straight up saying, oh, Orisa is useless now. I love it. I would like to hear your comments down below. As always, guys, thank you guys for watching. A like on the video helps make against the abusive algorithm. Comment down below if you want to hire me as a private coach, by the way. It's 50 euros for a 2-hour session. Doesn't matter if you're bronze or top 500. Hit me up on a Discord server. Link down in the description. But, as always, guys, I love you guys very much. Please take care of yourselves. Stay positive. As always, my name is Jonal. You can be me in your process.